Hey, please like and share. Suggest a topic for me to cover in the comments section, and let's collaborate, create, entertain, and educate. That sounded corny, but I really mean it. Alright, let's get into the video. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been filled with colossal blunders and missteps. Here are the 10 biggest fails of the war in Ukraine. Number 1 is underestimating the Ukrainian military's capability. Now, this is like the original sin, the pathology of Soviet and Eastern Bloc militaries. Okay? See, they train their soldiers to be herded. They're cannon fodder. They are authoritarians, whereas in the West, we train our soldiers to be leaders, to be effective, autonomous, yet cohesive, functioning weapons. Now, the Soviet Union would actually just mix their units up so no one spoke the same language, no one knew how to read maps, to prevent them from defecting or organizing mutiny. So when Russia annexed Crimea, we saw them, and it looked to me like these people were using Western battle tactics. They had been studying us. Thank God that's really, they did a really shit job. They do a shit job of it. And so while we were watching and studying how the Russian military was conducting itself in Syria, with real time we were able to have our Western advisors really train the Ukrainians not only how to function as, you know, a NATO certified soldier and be proficient also in guerrilla battle tactics and to lead men in battle, but we were training them specifically to combat these Russian tactics. The annexation of Crimea without clear plan for integration. Alright. Yeah, that's a great point. Now, their invasion of Crimea was like, it's like Putin watched a bunch of movies about American or Western mercenaries and probably watched some Tom Clancy shit and then put together Wagner. Now, prior to the annexation of Crimea, in order to be one of the, and it used to be actually, in order to be a part of Wagner, you had to be a Russian Spetsnaz. In order to be a Russian Spetsnaz, you had to be ethnically Russian and of their elite, which is not a really high bar. So this was, the complexity was that they were in Yugoslavia and they had Chechen. So these weren't ethnically Russian, but they had Chechen Spetsnaz working for Wagner trying to recruit Islamic Yugoslavs. I mean, these people were from Kosovo, from Bosnia, all over Yugoslavia, but they were getting Serbs to create this image that the people that were getting sent into, and this was back in 2011, so this is a few years prior to Russia's annexation of Crimea, but when it was in the works, they spent a lot of time trying to make it look like they had an international coalition of people that were so sympathetic to Putin that they were willing to conduct military operations to annex Crimea. Number 3 was ignoring international condemnation for their invasion. This invasion was condemned well before it went into any actual works. Now this is the damage it actually does to the world. Okay, so 1/5 of the world's grain is from Ukraine. Okay, Egypt only, I mean, they eat predominantly bread, and that bread comes from Ukraine. Millions of people are starving to death. Okay? Not any of this really is being covered. Now, how much of this is Putin aware of? I believe he's fairly aware of what this is doing to the world. Okay? But I don't think he has any real idea of how badly this war is going for him. Number 4 is using unmarked troops and denying involvement in the conflict. Well, we're guilty of it, but everybody is, of conducting clandestine, operations places. But, like, for instance, in Syria, Russia got their asses handed to them by a bunch of little 18-year-old fucking active duty kids from 1st Brigade, 101st Airborne. And some Spec Ops guys. Alright? Now, Wagner is supposed to be Spec Ops. We all know who they are. It's not like, you're working for Triple Canopy, alright, or some other company, and you're actually conducting a clandestine act of guerrilla warfare or sabotage. Alright? Everyone fucking knows who Wagner is. And so, there's no plausible deniability. But I don't know. In Ukraine, Wagner troops and Russian troops are actually selling each other out to Ukraine. Number 5, supporting separatist rebels by supplying them with weapons. This is a fail because they're not actually getting the weapons. I mean, okay, so in Ukraine there are separatists. We're calling them separatists because they want to be separate from the actual proper state of Ukraine. They are like the loyalists to Putin, okay? These people are so poorly run and organized that they are doing more harm than good. Now, the Russian regular military forces on TikTok have incentivized frontline service on the, with drink as much as you want. They're bragging about how, their ingenuity through telling their frontline soldiers to get their wives to buy tampons and send them tampons because of how absorbent they are. And this isn't a joke. This is like a flex that Russia's doing. So what I'm saying is, the battlefield is a shit show, and what they have are numbers. They have numbers, and the Ukrainians don't. And so with these communist human wave tactics, the idea is that they will ultimately win this battle through having more men than Ukraine has bullets. Number 6 was the shooting down of Malaysian Airlines flight Mike Hotel 17. Now look, there's always going to be collateral damage in war. Alright? It's unavoidable. It is not excusable. But in this case, and let's take a look at the people that are actually using these anti-aircraft weapons. Okay? What's their track record when it comes to actually just killing civilians? Is it collateral damage or is it deliberately killing people? I think they shot down that plane to tell the world, we don't care who you are. You do not want to come into this airspace. You don't want to get involved. You don't want to be a journalist. You don't want to do it. You're going to let Putin do what he wants. I think they knew exactly what that airplane was, and I think they took it down, and I think that it wasn't a decision that was made by the ground operator of that anti-aircraft system. Number 7 is the annexation's impact on the Russian economy. Now, I'm going to tell you that I don't think that Putin has any idea that is even remotely based in reality on the state of affairs of the Russian economy and of the Russian military. I don't think it's based in delusion. I think it's because of the way that he has placed the yes men, that there's no integrity to the chain of custody in regards to information. He's a KGB guy. These people have people working in silos of intelligence where nobody knows what the other parts of it, if they even are a part of a puzzle. Now, Russia has some cards to play that they think that they're going to survive with. One is they're building this massive pass of bridges and roads and train tracks that's going to connect India through Iran directly with Russia. Also, they know that global warming is melting all of the ice in the Arctic, creating new trade lanes, and China is now becoming Russia's best friend as they become completely economically dependent upon one another. Now, India is helping this out, but here's the thing. All three of these guys hate each other. China and Russia have had border disputes like crazy, and so has India and China. In fact, they're still killing each other in hand-to-hand combat. Number 8 is the human cost of the conflict with over 10,000 deaths. Okay, now, this is old information. I'm going to tell you that we're looking at right now roughly between 250,000 and 350,000 Russian combat deaths. Number 9 is the fallout with foreign allies, including damaging ties with the EU. Yeah, I don't think Russia really ever had good ties with the European Union. And the fact that they're interdependent upon one another for financial reasons, but there have been vast oil fields that have been found that would make any pipeline between the former Soviet Union and Western Europe just obsolete. Now, with all kinds of sanctions that have been imposed upon Russia, I think that these people, no, not the regular Russian people, but the Kremlin has been anticipating becoming a pariah all over again. Anyway, they do it all the time. I mean, Kremlin's a pariah within the Kremlin. They all hate each other. But Russia and Iran do have good points in if you were trying to convince an idiot that doesn't know anything about geopolitics that, you know, I guess America, we are the aggressors because we fucking surround their countries with military bases. And number 10 is failing to achieve their objectives with the ongoing conflict and resistance from Ukraine. Yeah, Russia has failed to achieve every objective in the invasion, and how it was conducted, how they were not able to neutralize Ukrainian air support and air defense. They targeted, buildings that were full of civilians. They were all over the place with their objectives. There was no cohesion to their plan. This has been an epic embarrassment in military history. And when and if Russia were to actually win by exhausting the Ukrainian military, it would be a Pyrrhic victory only due to the fact that Russia would have had lost more men and been willing to than Ukraine had bullets to shoot. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this, please like it. Please share it with someone who might like it. Please give me some suggestions, some critiquing, some tips, some advice on how I should be conducting these. Yeah, let's turn this into something. Okay. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on world news. Also, fun fact, I actually have experience not working with Russian troops. I've worked with a lot of interpreters that have walked Russian troops into IEDs, and, the fact that they were so friendly with me made me feel a little weird. But, no, I have had direct contact with Wagner in Yugoslavia and in Syria. and in a few other places that maybe I'll be able to talk about someday. All right, late.